That was a fun little Friday with a fade intraday. Stocks obviously sitting near highs. We're in pretty good shape, but there's a reason why I've got the yellow light on. But today, actually, this surprising move, I didn't expect to do this, but it's in Bitcoin. Rollover in BTC early this morning continued to show its true utility. Bitcoin is the tell for risk-taking appetite when it makes big swings. When you're in a high beta potential moment of animal spirits building up or dying out, Bitcoin often is the tell, especially when you combine it alongside with the dollar futures and watching how strong they've been. The pull away in Bitcoin down from the stock market over the last several weeks now is culminating with a very risky moment for the crypto world, because Bitcoin needs to hold 60K, especially in the middle of the halving. That would put a lot of pressure if Bitcoin breaks further from here. First thing that stands out is that Bitcoin is uncorrelated from stocks to the downside, okay? This is important. Look at the white line for BTC that's been coming off as the NASDAQ is still very close to the highs. This has been going on for weeks now. And this is really crucial because the Bitcoiners have always maintained, and what I've maintained too, that would be crucial for the Bitcoiners, is to see one day where Bitcoin uncouples, decorrelates from stocks in a positive way for Bitcoin. That's kind of the idea, is that, oh, things get so screwed up and the deficit blows up and stock returns and the Fed is stuck, stocks go down, Bitcoin goes up. It's never happened, still hasn't. And now it's actually doing the opposite. Bitcoin's come off while stocks have been making highs for weeks. In fact, stocks have been making records for months since Bitcoin put in its record. So really you could say that this has been going on for months. Bitcoin's sideways performance has been uncorrelated in exactly the way that Bitcoin bulls don't want to see. And that's pretty reasonable because the economy's been in an okay place and we've seen the market discern winners from losers and really separate value and quality the way it's chased all the earnings growth in big tech, because that's where it's at. Well, of course, Bitcoin doesn't have earnings growth or anything. We don't need to go down that road. Let's stick with the technicals. This chart firstly tells you that something fundamentally is a little off in the crypto world because there's risk appetite in stocks, but it's not extending to crypto. That's problem number one. Problem number two is that the longer term chart for Bitcoin still has a very ominous tone to it, which is that we have declining momentum on higher highs for the long-term chart. This is the 5-year chart. Obviously, we put in the record, but it wasn't that much higher above the previous record, which wasn't that much higher above the one from 21. And so what we're getting now with each successive high is lower momentum. And to me, that's basically the sign of something that only derives value from what it can sell to the next person for more, and then you just kind of run out of buyers. That's essentially what I think happened with the ETF launch. It pulled in all that demand, but then there's nobody really left. If anybody wanted to buy Bitcoin, they're in. So without any fundamental reason, utility, earnings, then it drops off. And now it's dropping off right now. Even with all the excitement about the ETFs, presidential election, last night was kind of a test too. The odds flipped hugely away from Biden to Trump, and supposedly Trump is the pro-Bitcoin president now. But also, Bitcoin went up 600% under Biden, so I don't think the election's really going to make a big difference. Right now, what matters is pure technicals. Can Bitcoin hold 60,000? Usually I wouldn't change my light for an asset until it actually breaks the support, but because the chart is so gappy and because the downside is so big, the way we moved so quickly up for BTC, it hasn't broken yet, but the yellow light's got to go red for crypto, because if Bitcoin falls through 60K, it's more likely to be the start of a broader risk-off move, as we've seen the tech stuff soften up, and that tech connection would likely recorrelate as Bitcoin's coming down. I think more likely Bitcoin is a tell that we're just running out of gas generally for speculative behavior, but the downside is so big that you gotta be on red alert.